Okay, here's my 2004 F150 with the 5.4. It's been 6 months of winter and I finally got to wash and wax it. So it looks pretty good for 19 years old. Still going pretty good, but I got a whining sound coming from the engine that whines with the revs of the engine. So at first I thought it was a tranny. I don't know why, just because when I was sitting in the cab it sounded like it was coming from there. But then I looked online for whining sounds and the idler pulley came up. So now I'm pretty sure it's the one of the idler pulleys. Now now I'm only really making this video because when I looked online for the idler pulleys and replacing it, there's 4 of them on this thing. And I'm making this video to show because it was confusing as to what to buy, and I'll show that in a minute, and the part numbers for all these pulleys. So I'll just show where they are now here. Get a reasonably good view. Okay, so we'll start with the first one here. There's now 1, 2, 3 of them are stationary, and one of them is on the idler arm. So I don't know if they're all called idler pulleys, but to me they are. So here's one, and this one here is the same part number as this one. Those are both stationary. And then there's a ribbed one down below the smooth one, and I'll show the part number of that too. That's a stationary one. And then down below there's the idler arms. So here's the idler arm with 3 10mm bolts holding it in, and I think it's smooth. Yeah, it's smooth, but either way, it's on the idler arm, and you can buy the pulley separately. And I'll show that part number too. But for an extra 20 bucks, I thought, no, I got to order all these things together, and it could damage the arm. And this is actually, I'm sure this is gone, because what I did was I took a little pressure off the idler arm, wiggled it around, and there's a lot of play on there, so it's definitely gone. And there was also a lot of play on, I think it was the ribbed one here, so that was easy to tell that that's my problem. And then I went to Rock Auto. Love Rock Auto, and prices were amazing. Now I'm in Canada, so I also had to pay for a bit of shipping, and customs was covered, so that was great. But here's the part numbers. Okay, first I'll show here. These are the smooth pulleys, these two here, and that is 006. So, and these, if you can stick to these part numbers, there's a bunch of different manufacturers, but this seemed to be the easiest to stick to these SKs. So 89006, that's the smooth pulley, $5, amazing. And here's the ribbed pulley, the grooved, SK36157, and that's that grooved one. The belt tensioner with the idler pulley on it is 89263. Only 23. Actually, that looks cheaper than when I bought it online. Anyway, and the belt, I thought, why not get it? Mine's a little bit cracked. It was only $10. This is amazing. In Canada, at regular auto parts places, I mean, each of the pulleys was 30 something bucks. The belt, I don't even know, probably would have been 40, 50. The tensioner was 56, I think, the cheapest I found it. So with $20 shipping, this came into under 100 bucks Canadian. Amazing. And it came from Arizona, according to the shipping things, even though Rock Auto's in a different place. This one came from Arizona and made it to Canada, Winnipeg, Canada here, in about a day and a half, and cleared customs too. Unbelievable. I was impressed. So when you look even on Rock Auto site, you'll see there are so many different pulleys. There's one for a supercharger, one for a lightning model, one for a, I can't remember. It was just, there was too many. And then the one that fits on here looks like these, but has a larger diameter here, it looks like. Anyway, if you stick to these part numbers and these pieces, you should be good to go. But yeah, having 4 different pulleys. I couldn't find any videos online that actually described where they were, how many there were. People were changing just one out, and it was a little bit, didn't know what to order until I actually researched it. So there you go. So there's the part numbers, there's the pieces. Now I'll go, you can stick around if you want. I'll just show a quick video taking them out. It's not all that difficult. And here's I have a tool from a long time ago. It has the 1/2 inch. You can use any 1/2 inch drive to loosen the tension on this guy. There it is there. So that's what we'll be sticking this thing into to bend, get the pressure off, to get the belt off, and then we can take all the pulleys out. I believe these are 12mm bolts, and these are 10mm bolts in the idler arm. Oh, I should add here, I had written down the numbers. Here's the tensioner pulley, SK89007 is, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's the pulley if you want to just replace this piece. But I'm thinking mine is really shaky here. And I think I saw online where if this is shaking for that long, it could damage the pillar that this thing sits on. Or it could damage the spring, I guess. I have no idea. But why not get the whole thing? We're talking 19 years since anything's been changed in there. I think I'm going to change the belt once when I got the truck 12 years ago or something. So anyway, this would be good to change them all out. And for the price, why not? Okay, I tried to put the camera on here on this clip thing that I have, but to show it all, but it ain't working. So I'll just do it piece by piece here. Just people get mad when they don't actually see exactly everything that's happening, but I'm just gonna, here's this little device, and it's pretty handy, this serpentine belt remover. I put it in the slot down there. I don't know if you can see it right down there into the 1/2 inch drive spot, and if you push towards the driver's side of the vehicle, you'll see, let me see here, I don't know if I can see it here, there we go, see, it takes the tension off the belt, and you just slip the belt off all the pulleys and slide it out, and that's what I'll do now. May as well show the old one. It's got some cracks going on, but I'll keep it as a spare. It's nice to have a spare because that's something that could go and then mess you up if you're on a trip. So keep that as a spare. Here's the new one, ribbed identically, which is good. Nice shape, so that'll be good. Okay, that was pretty uneventful. Don't get mad that I didn't show you taking these things off, because there's 3 bolts, the 3 bolts here, and these 3, they just crack off really easy, and then just undo them pretty much by finger. And it's been 19 years, I guess, since these things were put on, so that was no big deal. These 3 bolts that go in here, they're all the same, so you don't have to keep track of those. These ones, the one with the ribbed, it's slightly longer, so just keep that in mind. And if you forget and you take it out, it's kind of obvious because these 2 pulleys are identical, so obviously their bolts are identical. But just make sure the longer one goes back in the ribbed one here. When I spun these 2 smooth ones, they made a little sound, but the bearings seem pretty tight, or probably good enough in all 3 of these. But this one, there's my whining sound when it cranks up. Now I didn't show the whining sound when I start the truck and listen for the whining sound, because it's really hard to hear. You gotta, it doesn't do it idling. You got to rev it up or when it's under load, and it doesn't really, you can't really hear it on the video, but you can certainly hear it when you're sitting in the cab or outside the cab. It's very easily to hear. It's the whining sound, but it's not that easy on the camera, so I didn't bother trying to get that on here. And there you can tell if that thing winds up. It'll really make a lot of noise. So there's the problem, but I'm glad I'm changing them all because the price is right, and why not? These ones, I could spin it and you can hear a little sound. I don't know if that's normal or not. Anyway, I'll put them back in, and I'm not sure if there's much to show there. I'll just put them in, torque them down. You can look up what the torques are. I don't know what the torques are. I kind of got a built-in auto torquing in my arms, and I just usually use that. But it's not much. It's probably 20-30 pounds, if that. Okay, so there's, just make sure these, where they sit, are clean and good, and they all look nice. They're not scored up or anything. Bearing just sits on there, though, so it doesn't really matter that much. Not much to see in there. Okay, I'll put those back on now. Okay, slap those pulleys in. Pretty uneventful. See, they're all sitting like they used to, and then we'll just slide the belt in, and you should have Here's how the belt loops, and I'm going to start by pushing it through right here. You kind of bend it over. Where is it? There's my new belt. Yeah, bend this together, slide it between those two pulleys, get it around this guy first. That's what I'm assuming, and the rest is pretty straightforward. Okay, I gotta say, I wouldn't want to do that at the side of the road in the rain or anything, but it went on, just a little tricky. But yeah, I would definitely slide it through here first, around the AC, and then slide it around the crank, and then the rest is pretty easy. And leave this top one, was that the alternator? Top one off, and then when you bend the idler pulley down, it slips right over top. No problem. Okay, that's it. Pretty simple fix, pretty cheap, under $100. And actually, since out of curiosity's sake, I thought I'd just look and see on the idler arm here. I thought maybe this was damaged, so that's why I thought I'd buy the whole new thing. And the spring, I guess, could go, but no, this spring seems to be pretty good still. This seems to be good. I could have did the whole job for, what is this, the SK, I could have just bought the Pulley, SK89007. Took this off, put this on, put the old spring back on, and it would have been about $8 with shipping for me, I guess, but other people, depends on where you live. So pretty cheap, pretty easy, but I'm kind of glad I put everything new on there, and I got a spare belt to go. So, and just to update, my only one other video that I did was the tranny slipping out of overdrive, or out of third gear when it was gonna go into overdrive, I think it was. Anyway, that's it's been a few years, and that's running perfect. So glad I did that too. She's still going. Thanks for watching.